Hello everyone and welcome you all to another chapter of Blender Essential Tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 5 where we'll be understanding about the adding, deleting and 3D cursor. Okay, so we'll be learning how you can actually add different kind of icons, different kind of cubes, different tools and also different kind of lights over here. We'll be understanding how you'll be able to delete all those as well and also what are the usage of the 3D cursor over here. We'll be learning about all of these things in detail. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here, as you guys can see, now I'm here in the home page or the workspace of the Blender. So now from here, if you want to, let's say if you want to select this cube and you want to now delete this particular cube, what you need to do is there are basically different ways of how you will be able to delete this particular thing. One is if you come here, click on this particular cube, and after that if you come here, right click on your mouse, and over here you guys can see that you do have the delete option at the last. Okay, so you guys can come here and click on to the delete option, and over here this particular cube have been deleted. Okay, so the same way you will be able to select other objects from here on the screen. Okay, and if you click on X, here you guys can see that this type of pop-up window will come to confirm that do you want to delete it or not. Okay, so you guys can come here and just click on delete, and let's say I do have this particular light object as well, and instead of doing it from the 3D view panel, what I want to do is I want to do it from this particular panel right over here on top. So I can just right click over here, and here you guys can see now I do have the delete option. Okay, so I can come here and I can just delete this thing up quite from here as well. And if you do have a delete key, okay, so you guys can come here, let's say I will select this, and now I will directly click on the delete key and it will be deleted automatically right over here. Okay, so this is how you guys will be able to delete things from here. Now let's say again I will just click on Ctrl Z to bring this thing back. Let's bring the camera also over here. And now if you want to come here and if you want to delete only this particular part, in that case what you need to do is select the object, go to the object option, and from here you guys can see here also you do have the delete option. So if you click on delete, it will get deleted automatically. Let's click on X. Here I do have the wording pop-up and I will click on delete right over here. So now if I just go back, if I just zoom out in the workspace, here you guys can see now I don't have any object right over here. But let's say now if I do want to add, okay, so I hope you guys are clear that how you will be able to delete objects from your 3D view panel. Okay, and now if you want to add it, here you guys can see there is a small option called the add option. Okay, so over here they will ask you that what you want to basically add. Okay, so under here in the mesh, if I come here and if I click on cube, here you guys can see over here at this particular point I do have a cube. Okay, so now if I want to add more, let's go to add, and over here now let's add another cube. But now I am not able to see the cube where it is, because the cube which I had just created, it is actually over here in the center as well. Okay, so if I want to come over here and if I want to change the location, here you guys can see now I can just come here and basically location. Okay, so now I will come here. So now this was basically created here from the center, because here as you guys can see I do have my 3D cursor over here at the center. Okay, so wherever I do put my 3D cursor, it will just create a new object over into that particular space. Okay, so now let's say I will come here and I will just move my 3D cursor, and in case to do that you need to come here into this tools, and from here you need to select the cursor option. Okay, so now over here I do have my 3D cursor, and now if I come here, go to the add option, and let's say if I want to add a circle, I can come here and basically I will be able to add up a circle. Okay, So over here you guys can see now if I take my move tool, and over here you guys can see I do have created one circle right over here. Okay, so now let's come here, let's select this Bezier circle. Okay, and now over here you guys can actually change the x-axis. Okay, if you want to scale this, you guys can come here and you guys can scale it up right over here as well. And also if you want to just scale it through the y-axis or the x-axis, you guys can come here and check these things out as well. Okay, so here you guys can see the z-axis also I'm moving right over here. Now let's come here and let's delete this one as well. Now let's come here and let's put my cursor or the 3D cursor right over here at this particular point, or let's click here. And now what I'll do is I will add another object. Okay, so over here if you want to put out any kind of text and stuff, you guys can do that. Over here you do have the circle, the Bezier circle. And now over here what I'll do is I will come here in the metaball option, and from here now what I can do is I can take this ellipsoid option. Okay, so over here you guys can see I do have ellipsoid option. Now let's skip my cursor over here, the 3D cursor. Let's click on add, and let's come here and let's select the same thing right over here as well. Okay, so now if I just move this thing right here, okay, I will add another one over here as well. Let's go to metaball and let's select this one. And now let's say I will take my selection tool, and from the selection tool now what I'll do is I will just change its location from the y-axis. Okay, so let's come here and let's change it on the y-axis, and now let's change it to the x-axis. Okay, so as you guys can see, when both of this are actually coming at the same place, it's actually creating up a connection. Okay, so over here you guys can see this one is actually making up a connection. So now let's select this one. Okay, let's come here, let's select this, and from here now if you do want to move the x-axis, let's say let's come here, let's select this one, and from here now I want to change the y-axis. Okay, and here you guys can see the joint over here as well. Okay, so now here you guys can see now I do have joined all of these three paths over here all together. But here you guys can see all these three balls over here are actually separate layers. Okay, so now I will come here if I want to add more. Let's take my cursor, and now I will just place this cursor right over here. And now let's click here on add. Let's go to metaball, and now let's take a ball over here. So now if you want to transform this, you guys can come here and basically transform this as well. Now let's say I want to work on with the x-axis now. Okay, I can come here and I can just join these things quite over here as well. Okay, so now if you just zoom in, let's control plus with my hand tool, let's just move it up right over here, and over here you guys can see basically the whole 3D model. Okay, so if you want to see it as a camera view, you guys can come here, and as right now I don't have the camera over here. Okay, I do have deleted that one. Okay, so I can come here and also add a camera over here as well. Okay, so over here you guys can come here, click on camera, and now let's go back, and here as I do have my cursor over here, it will basically show into that particular place itself. So now what you can do is now select all of this. Okay, so click on shift and now select all this, and now if you want to move, okay, you guys can come here and you guys can actually move this thing up. Okay, so now let's say I want to actually change the x-axis. Come here and let's come here and let's change the x-axis of all together. Okay, so come here, let's say if you want to select all this, you guys can click on shift and you guys can select all of this. Otherwise, let's come here, let's select the camera option, let's delete this one, and now I want to add another camera option. So for that, what I'll do is I will keep my cursor over here, let's go to add, and from here I will just click on a camera. Okay, and if you want to scale it, click on S, and now here you guys can actually scale it quite big. Okay, so you guys can come here, scale it, click on enter, and now if you want to move it using the hand tool, select the hand tool over here, and now just move it right over here. Okay, so here you guys can basically see now I do have a camera. If you want to add up a light, you guys can come here, go to add option, select on light, and over here you guys can select the point light here as well. Now if you want to come here and let's say you want to move it up, come here and select the y-axis. Let's move it to the y-axis over here on this particular side, and now let's take and change the x-axis. Okay, come here and change the x-axis quite over here. Okay, so now if you want to increase the size, let's select this, click on S, and now here you guys can just increase the size. Okay, so now here you guys can see, you guys can increase. So over here you guys can also see that now I do have my 3D cursor over here, and let's say I want to place it right over here. And now if you directly want to add any objects right over here in this particular place, using Shift A from your keyboard, you guys can see I will go to mesh, and from here now if I do want to create a cylinder, I can create a cylinder right from here. And over here, as I do have this last option, modification option selected, so if you don't have this one, what you need to do is you need to go to view and make sure you on the last adjust last operation option. Okay, so if you want to change up the radius, you guys can come here, change up the radius. If you want to use this one's vertical, you guys can come here and you guys can change the vertical of this particular thing from here as well. Okay, so you guys can basically put this like that. If you do want to give this thing up a rotation, you guys can come here and give this thing up a rotation. If you want to change it here in the z-axis, you guys can come here and change the z-axis from here as well. Okay, so now let's come here, let's place this, and now let's say you do have put somewhere else your cursor. Okay, so you do have put somewhere else here in the cursor. Let's just zoom in. Now what you are going to do, now let's come here and let's go back, let's come here, let's go back, let's just put this cursor somewhere over here, and now I will take my selection tool, and what I'm going to do is I am going to move the x-axis. Okay, so I will come here, I will click on G, and after that I will just put it right over here. Okay, so now again if I want to get my objects right here in the center, whatever I will create, in that case what I can do is I will come here on top, and now I will just go to the objects, and from objects here you guys can see I do have an option called snap. Okay, so I can click on snap, and over here I can click onto the option of cursor to world origin. Okay, so over here you guys can see again my 3D cursor is back here at the exact center, okay, where it was originated. And now if I click on Shift A, and from here let's click on create a plane. Okay, so over here you guys can see now if you want to increase the size, let's click on S, and this is how you guys can actually increase the size. Let's click on enter to copy, and this is how it actually works. So I will just delete this thing again. Let's come here, select this one, delete this again, and now if you want to delete each and everything right from here, you guys can just select all of this and delete this accordingly. Okay, so now let's say I do have another cube. Okay, so now let's put on one cube, Shift A, and now I will just place one cube right over here in the center. And now here you guys can see I can actually change the location, and if I do want to scale it, I can come here and I can just increase the size as well. Okay, so you guys can come here and increase the size from here as well, and now just click outside to deselect this particular part. And now what you will be able to do is if you come here, you guys will be able to make some different designs. Okay, so for that what you need to do is again come here and let's go to the object option, and using that you guys can use some shortcut keys as well. Okay, so now if I do have this object, let's take my cursor, and now I will just place this cursor right over here. Let's take this cursor here in one particular place. Let's go to object, and from object I will click on shift S. Okay, so here I will just click on shift S. Right from here, let's click on shift S, and over here you guys can see now I do have these snap options right over here. Okay, so where do I want to put my cursor? Okay, so here you guys can see now if I want to bring this particular 3D cursor here in my selected object, so what I can do is I can select cursor to selected, and here you guys can see now I do have this particular cursor here in my selected object. Okay, so again it is back over here, and now again if I just zoom out, let's say I will just zoom out right from here, and now I want to create some same objects as this. Otherwise I can just right click, go to snap, and from here you guys can click on cursor to the origin. Okay, so now this one is not here at the center of this particular object or this particular cube, but this one is actually at the center of the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis over here. Okay, so now over here make sure that you work using all of these particular options. So now let's place it right over here, and what you can do is you guys can click onto the add option. Okay, so you guys can come here, otherwise make sure to use the shortcut keys, which is shift A. Okay, so I will just click on shift A right over here. Let's say I will just place this thing quite over here, take this selection tool, and now if I just click on shift A, let's create a cube right over here, and if you click S, and here you guys can just increase the cube, and also if you do want to rotate the view, you guys can come here, and also you guys will be able to rotate the view from here as well. Okay, so now let's just move this thing up, let's place it right over here, and now if you want to create other objects, okay, right over here you guys can actually create some other objects from here as well. Let's come here and let's give this x-axis, let's come here and let's change the y-axis from here as well. Okay, if you do want to take it here on top, you guys can come here, and now let's change the z-axis. Okay, so come here and let's take the z-axis, and I will just place this thing right over here. Okay, and now here you do have the resize option. Okay, so using the resize option you guys can come here and basically resize this particular thing right over here. If you want to change the z-axis, you guys can come here and select the z-axis as well. Let's take my hand tool, let's just move it up, control minus to zoom out over here. So now again I will select this one, and let's just delete this thing up right over here. Let's delete this one over here as well. Now let's go to the objects, and from here let's click on snap and cursor over here at the center again. So I will just zoom in, let's take my hand tool, just move it up right over here. And now what I'm going to do is I am to add up an object. Let's click on shift A, and over here now I am going to take a torus. Okay, so I will just select this torus, and maybe if I do want to increase the size, okay, I can come here and maybe I will be able to increase the size of the torus from here. Okay, so over here you guys can see the major radius. Okay, so you guys can come here and change all of this radius from here itself. Okay, so over here you guys can see the radius, and now I will just come here and I'll just select the major radius of this particular torus. And also here if you want to increase the segments, you guys can come here and basically you guys will be able to increase or decrease the segments. So come here and let's go with the minor segments. So here you guys can see now this is how you guys can actually create some minor segments right over here. So you guys will be able to choose how it actually looks right over here. Okay, so once you just select this particular part, over here also in the transformation option, you do have all these particular options. Okay, so now this was about creating one right over here. And now here you do have one tool called add cube tool. Okay, so if you guys click here in the add cube tool with your free hand, you will be able to create some of the objects right over here. So just click, hold on to your mouse, and here you guys can see now you guys are able to create up a base. And now once you click on enter, okay, so just click right over here. Now you guys can actually select the height. Okay, so you guys can just select the height, click over here, and now here I do have created one object. Okay, so the same way here you do have added one cube. And now let's say you want to just add another cube over here. Okay, so you guys can basically add another cube right over here as well. Okay, so come here and make some cubes, and here you guys can see now if I just take my selection tool, this is how it actually looks. Okay, so if you want to add more objects, okay, so here as I have already told you, just underneath if you do have a triangle shape like this, that means that you do have other options as well. So now let's go with adding up a cone. Let's come here and let's just select this particular part, and over here I will try to add up a cone. Okay, so let's give this one this particular size. And now if you want to add another cone right over here as well, you guys can come here and basically add up a cone here in this side as well. Okay, so now the same way, let's come here and let's try to add up a cylinder. Let's come here, select one side, and from here I want to add up a cylinder. Okay, so come here, let's just select the height. Okay, so this is how you will be able to add up a cylinder. And now the next thing I will show you guys about is the UV sphere. Okay, so now if you want to create a sphere over here, let's come here, let's select this particular part, and now you guys can actually select the size of the sphere. Okay, so if you want to move this one up, you guys can come here and let's say just move up the y-axis, and let's select the x-axis as well. Let's move on the x-axis a bit, and now I will come here and move on the y-axis. Okay, so come here and now let's move on the y-axis. Let's bring it here on front a little bit, and now just deselect this one. Okay, so this is how you guys can see. And as I've already told you, this one is basically the primary object. Okay, as I have selected this one the last. Okay, so I have already told you guys about that. And now if you want to create a ecosphere, you guys can come here and you guys can select one ecosphere right over here. Okay, so you guys can come here and select one ecosphere right over here as well. Okay, so come here, and if you do want to select any other part, let's say I want to select this ecosphere, and let's try to put it right over here on top as well. And here you guys can see now I do have the ecosphere over here on one side as well. Okay, so this is how you guys can actually create some 3D models. And let's say I want to give up some stairs and all. In that case, come here, let's say add a cube. Okay, so I will come here, and what I'll do is I will try to add up a cube over here. Okay, so I will come here, I will just add up a cube, and right over here in this particular place as well, what I'll do is I will come here and I will just select this one. Let's say I will just place it right over here, and also in this particular place I will just keep this space and I will just place it right over here till on top. Okay, so come here and let's just give it a space. Let's come here and let's do some 3D animations right over here. And lastly, I will come here and I will just give up a big space for here to climb. Okay, so this is how it actually looks. Okay, you guys can come here and you guys can play around with all of these objects right over here as well. Okay, so this is how you guys will be able to make some stunning designs using this particular tool here on down. You guys can actually work here in the 3D dimensions. And if you want to now view this one from other angles, here you guys can see this is the view of my object from different angles. Okay, So here you guys can see if you want to add anything here on back. Okay, you guys can come here and add different things from the back as well. Okay, so I will just place it right over here. And yeah, I hope you guys have understood this particular class. So this was all about how you will be able to add different objects, how you will be able to delete, and also about the 3D cursor tool. Okay, so yeah, I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we'll be learning more about the Blender application. Okay, so as I've shown you, by creating few of the characters, you guys can use the same tool and try to create all these objects over here again. So hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.